remember, I'll call to order when Christy tells me I'm allowed to. When we do the Pledge of Allegiance, you're welcome to turn off your camera, just cover your camera. Dale will lead us off in our Pledge of Allegiance because he's very, very good at it. He's memorized it for us. And you're also welcome to mute yourself if you don't want to hear 100 voices saying the Pledge of Allegiance at one time.
Go ahead, Erin. Start the meeting.
Okay, today is Monday, January 10th. This is the first regular Village Council meeting for the year 2022. It is 7:33 and we're officially called to order. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance, led to us by Mr. Markowitz.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I printed it out in case anybody ever needs it.
Good, thank you, Dale.
Could we please do the roll call, Mr. Bloom?
Corcoran?
Here.
DiBernardo?
Here.
Drum?
Here.
Grube?
Here.
Rocky?
Here.
Rogoff?
Here.
Subel?
We believe he'll be joining us soon. Okay. So we'll take a motion later if he technologically is unable to join us. How does that sound?
Jack will be joining us. I just
Okay.
spoke with him. Just
I
give him a
just
moment.
want to excuse him from the meeting if he was coming, so. Okay, so we are back virtually. Just as a reminder to everybody, if we lose members of council, because we are all required to be here, we will pause while we get people reconnected. So hopefully that won't happen, but just in case it does, that's your warning on the front end. And thanks to the voters for passing the charter amendment in November, so we could all be with you today virtually without masks on. The charter amendment passed in November, allowed council to pass legislation at our organizational meeting, allowing for virtual meetings, and we moved to those for January. So first order of business is the approval of minutes from the meeting held on December 13th. Normally, if you don't attend a meeting, you abstain from voting on it since you weren't at it, but I believe this is our one time of year where we get to vote on things whether or not we were there, correct, Dale?
That's correct.
So it's a little legal fun. Okay, so did anyone have any changes, adjustments, corrections to the minutes from December 13th?
No.
Okay. Motion to approve the minutes from December 13th?
Second.
Motion by Grube, second by Rogoff. Roll call, please.
Corcoran?
Yes.
DiBernardo?
Aye.
Drum?
Aye.
Grube?
Aye.
Rocky?
Aye.
Rogoff?
Aye.
Subel?
Aye.
And then we also have minutes from our January 3rd organizational meeting. Does anyone have any questions, corrections, additions? Okay, seeing none, I would motion to approve the minutes from January 3rd.
Second.
Motion by Grube, second by Rogoff. Roll call, please.
DiBernardo?
Dean.
Drum?
Yes.
Grube?
Yes.
Rocky?
Aye.
Rogoff?
Aye.
Subel?
Aye.
Corcoran?
Aye.
That was a nail biter. Thanks, guys.
Yes, okay.
Okay, and then the report from the mayor.
Thank you. The report for the mayor tonight is going to be fairly brief. It's the appointment of the various citizens to the committees. We approved Wendy Hoag Naylor to ARB on the 3rd. So what I'll do is I'll read all these names and the committees and ask for a motion to approve these appointments in mass. And if anybody has any questions or objections to any of the appointments, we can take those as they occur. An alternate to ARB is Jana Lutz. The Arts Commission is Marianne Ponce. The Board of Zoning Appeals is Jim Holdren and Lisa Kramer. Cemetery Commission, Maura Carr. Parks Commission is Andy Koenig and Jeff Opperman, Planning and Zoning is Roger Kane and Matt Hicks. Shade Tree Commission is Terry Rounds, Mike McGuire, and Ben Himes. I'd ask for if there's any questions or discussion on any of them? Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion to approve them.
Okay, any discussion, questions, concerns? Okay, so I would motion to approve the mayor's appointments to our boards and commissions.
Second.
Motion by Group, second by Corcoran. Roll call, please.
Drum,
Aye.
Grube.
Aye.
Rocky,
Aye.
Rogoff,
Aye.
Subal,
Aye.
Corcoran,
Aye.
DiBernardo.
Aye.
Anything else, Bill?
No, I'm sorry. That concludes my report.
Did you have
You caught
any-
me daydreaming.
I didn't know if you were going to commend the heroic actions of our
Yes,
foot chase.
I'll leave that. Those of you who don't know what Aaron is talking about, on Friday, a truck went down Masonic Alley and took out the power lines, Daisy, power lines, and our whole phone system. And it shook the building. So we went running outside. Amber came out of the police. I came out of the front door, and we walked over. We saw the live power lines sparking, and Amber spots the truck. So she takes off on foot, runs down the truck on foot, and apprehends the culprit. So job well done, Amber.
I mean, I just would like to commend you for jumping into action like so quickly and pulling someone over in a truck when you were on foot. I just think it's amazing.
Yeah, and if
I
there's
appreciate
another
you.
incident of that, we're going to have to get a cape with a
Yes.
big W on it.
I think you're making it more exciting than it was, Mayor, but thank you for acknowledging me.
Yes,
I
it was
mean-
an exciting day on Friday.
I can-
Watching those wires sparking on the street was a little impressive. So anyhow, that now on that lighter note does conclude the mayor's report.
Okay, how about the report of the finance director?
I have no report tonight.
And do we have any members of the public to speak to our agenda items?
No, we don't have any tonight.
Report of the law director.
Thank you. We have one item on the legislative docket. It's ordinance number 2022-02. It's an ordinance authorizing the chief administrative officer to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Chagrin River Watershed Partners, Inc., and declaring an emergency. One thing I would mention, normally we would have the mayor signing these agreements, but the mayor cannot sign this agreement with Chagrin River Watershed Partners because of his official position with both communities. So that's why we have the CAO signing.
That makes sense. So Chagrin River Watershed Partners, they do a lot for us. It's hard to really encapsulate what they do. But you know, our water and our river health is a community asset and it's a regional asset. And so we work with them when we look at stormwater issues like we're having up on Locust. They help us with stormwater issues that we sometimes have, you know, behind Carriage Stone, Monticello. They help us acquire grants for when we are doing stormwater mitigation. They play a part in our EPA accreditation for the wastewater treatment plant. They've been a great asset to our community since we helped found the organization. I'm not going to pretend I remember how many years ago. Our annual dues are about $7,200. And then when we undertake projects with them, they, you know, we get a project scope. And so we see what those costs for each project are individually. They also advise us on legislation that has to deal with stormwater stuff. So I think it's a pretty great relationship. We see this contract once every 5 years. Streets and Sidewalks did recommend it. We did have a little bit of discussion about the fact that it was presented as an emergency, but that's a more of an overarching sort of conversation, not one directed, not one aimed or judged at this specific contract. Despite the emergency status, we felt like we should still pass it so that we can continue to work with them on a number of upcoming projects in the village. Rob, anything to add?
No, just that we're going to be falling under a new Ohio EPA stormwater permit cycle that starts in April. And Watershed Partners will be working with us to meet the new requirements and update our operations to meet those requirements. So appreciate everyone's support on this.
Okay. Any questions, comments, discussion on this legislation?
Well, just, I'd like to make a comment on,
Yeah.
on the emergency issue. This is a great group and it's a very a great contract and we've had a successful relationship with them. To me, the reason for the emergency, for not following an emergency, although I agree that we can do that with this, but this is for the benefit of the public. So, I mean, we have a greater opportunity to see these things. We got this last Thursday or Friday, but the public doesn't know about it as readily. And so it's an opportunity for them to know about this and the watershed partners and the great work that they do with us.
Agree.
So, I mean,
I agree. I think just because something has 3 readings, it isn't always because there's something deeply controversial. It's because we want to take an opportunity for the public to be aware of what we're doing and to come and learn more about something. So, yeah, I agree that you know, when we have the chance to do that, you know, and I listened in on the other meeting, so I know that there is the will to get this done as quickly as possible. But I agree, if we can in the future, it's great publicity for a lot of the wonderful things we do as a village and a lot of the groups we work with. And I'd love to be able to spend more time talking about what they do.
To reconcile that, is this something that could be a kind of a feature briefing of the next newsletter or something to educate
That's-
people on what it is?
Absolutely. We
Yes.
could do that. And we can also invite them to put on a presentation at a future Streets and Sidewalks meeting.
That is a great idea. Love it. Okay.
Well, I think they're going to give us a presentation in not too distant of a future about Locust Lane stormwater.
Excellent.
When they come
He
from
looks
CT
mildly
to tell
panicked when I
everyone.
say stormwater.
It might be helpful to get a presentation on what
They
other
do.
services that they offer to residents that go beyond the services that are just offered to the municipality.
They do a number of things, including like rain garden training. I think that's one of their most notable things. And then they work with individual homeowners on some stormwater issues too.
They work
That's the
with
reason why I brought it.
individual-
Bill,
Work
I don't know if you're allowed to talk. Are you, Dale, can he
Well, I was
address
just
this?
going
or
to
should
say
he-
what they do is they work with individual homeowners and consulting with them on a variety of issues, mostly stormwater, and that's at no charge to the homeowner. That's the only thing I was going to add.
You know, I would second the idea that Mike put forward, that we take with the renewal of this, that we make that announcement in the next newsletter when Rob puts that out, and then we detail what residents can get from this partnership in addition to what we get from it. And then, you know, that will give residents some knowledge of this service and that they could take advantage of.
Rob, you're on that?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and independent of a specific issue like Locust Lane, we're really
Right.
talking, what my point was the generic value added of participation.
Exactly.
So
yes,
if you have other thoughts on that, once you guys send of elements that you want to make sure we include, why don't we send those over to Rob and Christy, just so that they have those in writing rather than just thrown at them. Any other discussion on this? Are we comfortable passing this, even though we are mildly? Okay. I would motion to adopt ordinance 2022-02.
you need to,
I
You
I
need
just
to-
suspend the rules. I'm
Wait.
sorry.
you
We
need to wait.
wait, yeah.
Motion to waive the rules.
Second.
Motion by group, second by Rocky. Roll call, please.
Grube,
Aye.
Rocky,
Aye.
Rogoff,
Aye,
Subel,
Aye.
Corcoran,
Aye.
DiBernardo,
Aye.
Drum,
Aye.
And then motion to adopt 2022-02.
Second.
second,
Motion by group, second by Subel. Roll call, please.
Rocky,
Aye.
Rogoff,
aye,
Subel,
Aye.
Corcoran,
Aye.
DiBernardo,
Aye.
Drum,
Aye.
Grube.
That's it.
There it is. Short legislative docket, my friends. Okay. We have council committee reports, administration and compensation.
No report.
There it is. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I should have given you a cue there. Arts Commission,
Arts Commission's meeting tomorrow night at 6:30 on Zoom.
BZA,
Postponed until January 25th.
Cemetery Commission. I have no report. Oh, we're meeting virtually next. No, we're meeting virtually this week. We're meeting this Wednesday virtually. Sorry, I always tell you it's Tuesday and it's never Tuesday. And I'm also being told that Arts Commission is at 6:15.
6:15, okay.
There's a little.
I would have been 15 minutes late. Thank you, Christy. Okay.
Facilities and services.
Oh,
Yeah.
facilities and services, no report tonight. I will be getting in touch with my new committee members to schedule a meeting so that I can get you guys up to speed with, we're kind of halfway through some large projects. So I want to, bring everyone new into the conversation so we can continue that work.
Finance Committee, I have no report. Parks Commission.
Parks was canceled last week, so no report.
Planning and Zoning Commission.
Planning and zoning meets next Monday at 7 o'clock in council. No, not in council chambers. We're meeting by Zoom.
Keeping you on your toes there, Nancy. Safety Committee.
So we are going to set a meeting for 6:30 on the 24th. So before the next council meeting to discuss the changes to the Ohio Revised Code around fireworks and how that's going to affect us, and pursue an ordinance. And pursue an ordinance if we need to.
Shade Tree Commission. Mr.
This is
Rocky.
awesome, man. I'm actually used to going back to back. So I've asked Terry Rounds to come and speak at the next council meeting to give us a little bit of an idea on what Shade Tree does and the services that they offer to residents, and how what different things that they can request of Shade Tree, what's the best way to request or notify of a problem with their lawn tree, because that seems to be a lot of concerns that people have. So it'll be good to hear what they can do, how all that works, and just bring everybody up to speed on that.
Great.
Is that what Shade Tree is? Is tree lawn maintenance?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
See? This is why Terry's coming.
Gotcha.
Although if you're from Akron, you would call that the Devil Strip.
Which
Or
is
Youngstown.
so weird. People
Youngstown,
say
I'm
that in
sorry.
Akron, and I can't get over it. It's just,
I have a friend from Youngstown and she's very, very set on the Devil Strip. Wanted to add that in there for some cultural notes. Streets and sidewalks. We met tonight to talk about tonight's legislation. And then we also talked about electric vehicle charging stations. There's a number of grants out there that would allow us to get the equipment for electric vehicle charging stations, basically at no cost. We would then be able to work with a service provider to sort of source some revenue from because when you use one of these, you would pay for it, and then we would receive a share of that revenue. And so we talked a little bit about that, and the committee's recommendation was that this was something that we found some interest in, and we'd like Tim to pursue some grants for us on this, ideally looking for 100% coverage of that equipment so that it's not coming out of the general fund. The thought is that we want to find sort of lesser use spaces. We're not looking at downtown, like Main Street parking. Sorry, there's the word I'm looking for. Main Street parking, perpendicular in parking is preferable because that way people can back in or pull in depending on where their charging ports happen to be. We were fortunately guided by our very own electric vehicle owner, Ms. DiBernardo, and she gave us some insights to her experiences driving on the batteries. So does anyone have any thoughts or major concerns about looking for these grant opportunities to put in some electric vehicle charging stations in the village? Nope, I'm not seeing anything. So let's keep going on that one. So we'll see where we're at. We'll keep working with Tim and CT looking for some opportunities. So that's my report. Utilities.
No report, but Brian and I are meeting with Glenn Elliott tomorrow afternoon for a infrastructure and system overview to understand both the sewer and the water system and talk about issues.
Cool. Okay. I'm really not used to the whole switching back between my two screens. Report.
Aaron, just to follow up on Mike, on the 18th, the UV sterilization system is going to be turned on. And with that, I believe the phase 1 should be largely complete. And I was going to organize an in-person tour of the wastewater treatment plant sometime subsequent to that 18th. So I think it'd be a good idea to see it for all of you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That room was so creepy with the sand filters. Go ahead, Rob.
I have a
You
quick
won't
update.
recognize it.
I received an email at the end of the day today that startup has been postponed to February 1st by the manufacturer, not by our contractor. So February 1st will be the startup of the UV.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
Just
the
learned of
third
that at the end of the day.
postponement. It was
Didn't have a
supposed
chance
to be
talk.
turned on in early December.
It's great. Yeah.
We should maybe have a conversation. Like, do we think they're going to hold to this February date? I'm concerned about
It's up to the manufacturer.
3 months. It's up to them when we turn it on.
I mean, it's the full startup, but yes, it is up to the factory to get that going. And as soon as they're able to get there, and they have been instructed on how urgent we want this accomplished too. So
We're waiting on it's a supply chain issue. We're waiting on parts to be delivered from the manufacturer.
on the manufacturer to come up and actually start up the unit and train our personnel and make sure that the unit that was installed is correct.
So we're waiting on
correctly,
commissioning and
get it up
training is
going.
what you're saying.
Correct. That's a better way of thinking of it, Rocky.
Okay, so the unit's got to be commissioned and trained.
Yes.
Odds are it's a COVID-related delay, huh?
Yep. That makes more sense. I will reduce my annoyance that we're not up with the fancy lights yet. So, okay. Report of the Chief Administrative Officer.
I just have one item tonight, Madam President. A reminder that the second and final round of holiday tree collection will be Monday, January 17th. Please have your live tree placed out at the curb by 7 a.m. that day with all the ornaments and tinsel and everything removed so that our village crew can chip it up for recycling. And after that date, if you place your tree out, it'll be collected by Kimball with your regular refuse. And that's all I have.
Okay. A report of the engineer.
Thank you, Madam President. Only active construction project now is the Riverside Park brick path, and bricks are kind of wrapping up today and tomorrow, I guess. And probably the contractor will maybe do a little bit of dirt restoration, that kind of thing, but the weather is, I can't believe they're actually still working, but they are. And then the next obvious thing would be the restoration when weather permits. So.
Well, we're comfortable growing grass there. We do it frequently.
Yeah.
I just want to say they are doing an amazing job in that brick pathway with the way it just like stays along the river, and the brickwork is beautiful, and it's very even and flat. It's very like not filled with mud and random bricks sticking up places. It's beautiful. So thank you.
It's on a concrete base, as you'll notice, which is a big change from what it's been for 30 years or more. So,
and with significant drainage work underneath.
Correct. So there's under drains, concrete base.
It's fancy.
Metal channels to keep the bricks from sliding out. So this is the tried and true method. It costs more, but it is the permanent way to do it. So that's a plus.
We're ready to stick with it. So we're excited. Report of the police chief.
I just wanted to let you guys know that we're going to be starting a hiring process for, actually, I'd like to hire 1 full-time and at least 2 part-time officers. We're trying something a little different in using, it's called the National Testing Network, where people who want to apply can go in and take a test and submit their scores to us. And it actually, what we're hoping is it's going to push out to a broader applicant pool than we've been getting. I think on our last hiring round, we only had 9 people apply, which is not great. So we're gonna get the paperwork going, I think as early as tomorrow. And so if you guys know anybody that's looking for police jobs, direct them to our website. There'll be a link on there where they can go to the National Testing Network and take the test and submit their scores, and then we'll do an assessment after that as well.
This is probably a really dumb question, but I'm just going to ask it anyway. So if you're a police officer in another state, can you then become a police officer in Ohio? Is that as complex as if like you're a lawyer where you have to take the bar again?
So you have to be certified in Ohio.
Okay.
So conceivably somebody from another state could take our test and come here. We don't currently sponsor people in the police academy. So as a requirement for being hired here. We require people to already have their Ohio, it's called OPATA certification.
Okay.
But some states are closer than others as far as how much like training you would have to go to get the certification.
Cool. Thank you. I just was curious. Never thought about asking before. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Report of the fire chief.
Thanks, Madam President. I have a couple things. Last Sunday, we hosted a beat a match event for our Fire Marshal Jim Finley. By all accounts, it was very successful with in-person and online attendance. We have well over 200 people that participated, which is very awesome in my opinion. And so we're still waiting to see the results of that. And I will tell you that Jim has got the word that sometime mid-February, he'll be going in for his transplant. So be aware of that.
So that means he has a match.
Let's hope. There's so many tests that he has to run through and be prepared for prior to going downtown. So he's been doing that for the last 3 weeks. Second thing, last Tuesday, I was able to host the 3 new council members to discuss the department history of both departments and its operations. So I'm happy that they showed up and showed some interest in that. So appreciate that. And the last thing was I was actually an eyewitness also. Police, I mean, she ran that guy down like a lost dog. I mean, that was a great apprehension there, Chief. So pretty cool. I was at the other end of the alley watching the wires. So anyway, nice job.
I didn't want to.
If you're going to leave the scene of an accident, why would you leave the scene of an accident outside of
the police station? No, I didn't want to mention it before, but this has traveled to the internet, and at least locally, people think you are pretty amazing. The cape may be dropped off soon, so it's very well received by the public. So.
Was the actual intent a hit and run? Were they actually trying to get away?
Yeah.
I don't know
what. They went down
know
the
if
alley
you
about 30 miles an hour.
it.
He was not stopping. So
Do we think, can we address with First Energy, maybe the location of that electric pole? Maybe we could get that electric pole moved by them since it's clearly a public safety hazard. And
that's just what I talked to Rob about on Friday. We're going to follow up on that. I think they're going to have to, if you see it, the pole's leaning. So I'm sure it has to be re-drilled, and we'll see about getting it relocated if we can.
I just think if they're going to have to re-drill it, it probably should be re-drilled. I don't know, maybe farther away from the narrowest part of that alleyway.
Be nice.
What do I know about electricity, though?
Would help with something else too.
It would. It would actually be good timing for us as a village as we undertake renovation. Okay, but council strongly requests that they fix that line so that it doesn't happen ever again. Okay.
Hey, just one last thing. I should have mentioned it earlier, but I want to thank Frank and his guys. They did an outstanding presentation for Jack and Brian and I last week, and helping us understand the relationship between the Chagrin Falls Fire Department and the Chagrin Valley Fire Department and all of that. It's just a wonderful history, and it was just extraordinarily interesting. So thanks a lot.
I second that. Thanks again, Frank.
You guys could do a side business teaching people how to present, because I was very professional.
Your guys did a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
I think one thing the public doesn't understand is our fire department and how cost effective it is by sharing. I mean, we provide EMS and fire protection at a fraction of what it costs other communities. And, hats off to Frank and all his predecessors that, it's a first-class job they've done.
I'm covertly trying to get a story in the paper about it.
Good job. Not covertly anymore. This is a public meeting.
It's out there now.
That's right. Overtly.
Overly,
There
very
you go.
overtly, exactly.
Okay, so my friends, this comes to the time in the meeting where we ask the public if they would like to address council to any matter. If so, and you're on Zoom, you can use the raise your hand function and we will be able to move you into our panelist side and you can tell us anything you want. I mean, I'm looking at the names on here. I don't know that anyone's going to raise their hand, but they're very welcome to. And this is where I make odd chatter just in case someone's trying to find the raise your hand button. It's usually at the bottom, in the middle. Okay, I'm seeing no one raising their hand. Okay, miscellaneous. I have a couple miscellaneous items, so bear with me, please. The first is I would like to bring up our meeting format for February. As you're, or maybe not aware, when we have ARB and BZA, those meetings often require public notices, which are at least 15 days in advance. So we do need to give the administration some sense of what format we would like meetings in February. I'm going to ask the fire chief real quick, who's our public health official in the village, because we're in a pandemic. He gets to attend these extra fun calls where he gets to hear the inside scoop on the pandemic. So Frank, can you give us an idea of sort of what they're expecting in terms of peak of this COVID, of this Omicron surge and where we're at pandemic wise?
Yeah, so every Tuesday, I'm in Zoom meetings with all the hospital heads of our University Hospital, Metro, Cleveland Clinic, et cetera. They go over a lot of stuff with us and give us an idea of what's happening. So the latest is they feel that the peak of this Omicron is going to probably peak around the end of January and then have a sharp drop off. And I just saw Dr. Fauci on TV about a half an hour ago, so the same thing. So I knew that they talked about it about 2 weeks ago. So it is what it is. It just got to kind of play it by ear. And I think I'm pretty comfortable with going Zoom for the rest of this month and then reevaluating February 1st. But I would probably include February in the Zoom also, just to be safe.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I would like to make, so the ordinance that we passed at our organizational meeting allows for the council to move meetings to a virtual format through a motion, which is why this is not done under our legislative docket. It's a simple motion, which is interesting. So I want to hear discussion. Are we comfortable having a conversation about moving our February meetings virtually just because of the timing of the expected peak? And I know we're looking at a sharp drop off, but we also have to provide 15-day notices on BZA, ARB, and other hearings, and we need to let people plan. So thoughts, comments, concerns? The floor is yours.
Sounds like since we're at the 10th already, there's not much practical choice but to say Zoom for the month of February.
I agree. I think
Yeah.
that's the safe way to go to not have to do some kind of rapid changes to say, look, in February, we're going to be virtual and let's keep an eye on March and hope that we see what people are predicting. This drops off in February and then we'll see where we are.
Any major concerns, my friends? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone too upset with me. So I would motion to move all village meetings to a virtual format for the month of February 2022.
Second.
Motion by group, second by Rocky. My motion was okay, correct, Dale?
Yes.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Rogoff,
Aye.
Subal,
Aye.
Corcoran,
Aye.
DiBernardo,
Aye.
Drum,
Aye.
Rube.
Aye.
Rocky.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Aaron, you did
Yes.
say all meetings and hearings of all public bodies, right?
Exactly.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Wait, Dale, you did say that motion was okay, right?
Remember when I
Didn't-
asked Dale if my motion was
I
okay?
think he said okay, right? He said-
In all
The,
seriousness, do I need to go back?
Well, I thought about it as the votes were being collected, that you didn't necessarily say public hearings, you said meetings. And so the way we drafted the ordinance, we covered both. So
Okay, so I would motion to move all public hearings of the village. Do you want me to do meetings again?
No, you already did meetings, so you can
Okay.
just do all public hearings.
I would motion to move all public hearings of the village to a virtual format for February of 2022.
Second.
Motion by Group, second by Rocky. Roll call, please.
Rogoff,
Aye.
Subal,
Aye.
Corcoran,
Aye.
DiBernardo,
Aye.
Drum,
Aye.
Grube,
Aye.
Rocky.
Aye.
That was a nail biter. Okay. Thank you, Dale. I would rather cover our bases than have
Yes.
any issues down the road. I don't want to find out we did it wrong when a judge throws out some sort of decision from one of our boards. So, okay. I have another one. I'm sorry. And then I'll let other people bring up miscellaneous items. I have a wild and crazy idea, and it involves our agenda. The format of our agenda is a little split in some ways. So I sent council a revised proposed agenda. And I want to treat this sort of as a committee of the whole discussion where we can talk about it together, because I think it's a group decision and a group conversation. I would have brought this up at the organizational meeting, but there's a COVID spike going on, and I love you, but wanted to not be in the room with you for super long. So
I can put that on the screen if you want.
if you could, that would be lovely. And if I believe our favorite newspaper reporter is in the audience, I can send her a copy later as well if she would like. I did some research and looked at what other communities do, but also didn't want to go too far from what we currently do as a body. So my suggestion is that we consolidate all of the administrative reports into a single section, sort of up at the top of the meeting. And then we have committee reports, both our council committees and then our commission reports. The wild and crazy idea is I'd like to add a space on the agenda for presentations to council. Sometimes we have people who we want to have present to us. For example, the Shade Tree Commission is a great example. Under the current format, I go to the mayor and I'm like, Mayor, would you be willing to do this under your report so that we could have it at the front of the meeting so I could give these people a time certain that we're going to start? And he's always willing to do it, but it feels disordered and a little sloppy to me. So I would like to suggest we add that section in there. I sort of call out when we host our public hearings as number 7. So when we're changing zoning code, we have a public hearing as part of our council meeting. It just sort of outlines when that happens, just for clarity's sake. And then it's the same as it currently is, where we have our members of the public to speak to any agenda items, our legislative docket, members of the public to speak to any matter. Time change, there's no time change to how long people can speak. They can speak for 5 minutes, both to legislative and agenda items. It's just sort of reordering things, so it's a little bit more, it seems to me to be more intuitive. Go ahead, Dale.
Yeah, actually, right now we have 2 minutes for people speaking to agenda items. So this would be a change for 5 minutes.
That is true. And you recommended that change, that it was
Right.
more cohesive to have a single time for people to speak versus the 2 separate times. So we would actually be increasing public comment. Thank you for correcting me.
I like it. I think one of the things I like about it is, one, I know we wanted to be cognizant of the fact that our administration often sits through the entire meeting until the end of the meeting, and then their important information sometimes is after members of the public have left and gone home. And it would be nice to get that up at the front so that we get that that information, which is often some of the most interesting part of the meeting, up front. I also like that we put our committee reports up front, because often, as we just have had tonight, we end up saying just tonight's legislation, because we've had the discussion that we had at the committee during the legislative part of the meeting. And this would allow us to basically do our committee report up front. And then when we get to the legislation to vote, we would have already had that discussion. My only comment that I think this is the rare circumstance, but somebody who's here who's angry about something on the legislative docket would now have to sit through a lot more meeting before they talk, but I'm assuming that they would willingly do that. And that's the rare occurrence, as opposed to the normal meeting where we have our administration sitting and waiting until the end. Those are my comments.
That's fair. Any other comments? Not all
No one
at
else
once.
has opinions.
Just a quick question. This is, I assume this is not something we vote on. You're collecting input as president. Don't you have
Oh, no, we get to vote on
We
it.
have to
This
vote on
is an
it, yes.
ordinance.
on the agenda?
Yeah, it will
Not
have to
tonight,
be.
it isn't.
Oh.
It will be. It would, if you guys are generally comfortable with this, I would put it on a first reading at the next meeting. It's not an emergency, so I would just leave it on for 3 readings. We'd pass it end of February.
Yeah, our agenda is established by ordinance and we have to follow it directly. So this is, I believe,
Okay.
Aaron's attempt to say, hey, what if we did this differently?
I
That's exactly
presumed
it.
as president, she had the authority to
No,
define the agenda. My bad.
I have the authority to put things on the agenda, but not the order of the agenda. The order of the agenda is an ordinance.
oh, my only other question is the law director's report underneath administrative report. Currently, the law director's report is almost always a legislative docket. Would this just be?
He would have both. It would
He would
separate
have-
his report.
Okay,
If
So
if
if
we
he
had
was-
if we had some litigation to talk about or something,
an
we could
update.
discuss it there, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, I'm not seeing anyone like reaching out to yell at me, so hearing no objections, I would like to put this, I'm going to put this on the agenda for legislation for next meeting, and we'll give it its 3 readings and, you know, go from there. Okay, that's fun.
there you go.
Feel free to call me if you have any questions, obviously. Okay, sorry, I'm not on the right agenda now. Does anyone else have any miscellaneous items? Okay, seeing none. I would move to go into executive session with all members of council, the mayor, the law director, the director of finance, the chief administrative officer, the building and zoning inspector, and the assistant building and zoning inspector to discuss pending litigation and seek advice from the law director.
Second.
So this is a request to meet with our law director, just for, since we have some new folks on council, we have to vote on it. And then we would leave this meeting and go to the executive session. So roll call, please, or motion by group, second by Rogoff. Roll call, please.
Coble,
Aye.
Corcoran,
Aye.
DiBernardo,
Aye.
Drum,
Aye.
Rube.
Aye.
Rocky,
Hi.
Rogoff.
Aye.
Okay,
Um,
give me a minute to get it set up when we go out of here.
Yeah. Okay,
So
so
wait about 30 seconds.
okay, well, you do that. I'm going to finish this. So this council feed that everyone is currently watching is going to stay live. In order to actually end our meeting, we will all have to come back in here in order to adjourn our meeting. So council will literally leave. Christy will have up probably the village logo or something, maybe the waterfalls. We'll see what she's chosen. Oh, she chose that. So we'll have that up on the screen just so people know where we went. I do not, when we return, we'll take any necessary actions and then we'll adjourn. So
But we have to individually exit this Zoom.
We do.
Okay.
you do.
Go to the other and then come back here.
All right.
Aaron,
And I
did
would-
you
We shut
leave?
this one down?
Yes.
Yeah, Bill, you're gonna
Okay.
hit leave. You're gonna go to your email and you're
Yeah, I
gonna go
know.
to the Zoom
I
that
got
Dale
that.
sent
Dale.
you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Did we
that's what
state the
everyone
reason
does.
for this
Despite what
executive?
Dale says, there is traditionally a race to the other meeting, so. See you later.
Pending litigation and advice from the law director, Andrew.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we hit that.
Yeah, no, it was in my motion. And then the rest of our administration, you guys are welcome to leave. There's no need for you to look at our screen for the next little bit.
We win. Oh, were you back first?
No, I think you were here when I got
That's
here.
right. But Jameson left early, so that doesn't count. Like I think he left a little, he won to get back, but I think he left a little bit
Separate
early.
meetings, two separate matters.
Ah, okay. So,
Wait, you didn't just broadcast our thing, did you?
yeah, two monitors going? No.
Okay.
No, I didn't have two monitors going.
No, we're good.
1, 2.
Okay.
It's my thing was just like, it was up and then now it's gone. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Andrew's here. He's just not on video, right? 1, 2.
Oh, yeah. Waiting on Brian.
Sorry.
You're
There you
okay.
go.
We'll give Brian a second.
Brian.
Brian is on
wait.
as an attendee and I'm moving him over.
There he is. Boom.
And bonus points to Larry Trace for hanging in there for our entire
The whole
executive session. Wait, I'm motioning to adjourn from executive session, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, motion by group, second by Rocky. Roll call, please.
Corcoran,
Aye.
DiBernardo,
Aye.
Drum,
Brian, you're on mute.
I don't know why that is.
Group,
Aye.
Rocky,
Aye.
Rogoff,
Aye.
Hubel.
Aye.
Okay, seeing no other miscellaneous hands in the air, we will adjourn tonight at 9:02 p.m. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you on the 24th.
Okay, thank you. Good night,
Yeah.
everyone.
Night.
I don't.
I don't.